know I got the receipts, girl. You know I got the receipts. Bright Cellars is the monthly wine club that matches you with wine that you'll love. Get started by taking the Taste Palette quiz to see your personalized matches. Now, Bright Cellars matches you with wines from all over the world, curated to your taste buds. They are focused on finding unique hidden gems from small vineyards all over the world. And with hundreds of private label wines, you'll be able to try a new wine you've never tasted before. All you need to do is take their 7-question quiz so they can gather your taste preferences and deliver wines you're guaranteed to love. Each box is completely unique to your taste palette, meaning no box is ever the same. Each box comes with wine education cards for each bottle that outline the tasting notes, suggested pairings, best serving temperatures, and its origins. Wine wisdom cards help show you how to store and open your wine, keeping it tasting fresh for longer. Now, all Sweet Pea Diaries viewers will get 60% off your first purchase by clicking on the link in the description box below. Thanks again to Bright Cellars Wines for sponsoring this video. Welcome back to the Sweet Pea Diaries. It's your girl Sweet Pea, and I am back with another video. If you are a returning subscriber, welcome back to my channel. And if you are a new subscriber, welcome to the Sweet Pea Diaries. Be sure to like the video, share the video. Most importantly, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Y'all know what time it is. Hey guys, we got Deion Sanders, who's still having trouble with her membership. We got Aaron, Coach LP, my member, Miss Bug Butt, my member. We got Michelle Lane. We have, who else? Evolving Chats. And as you guys come in, just go ahead and shout out. I'll say hey. Now, Deion, I put the link in the chat to join the channel. You need to take that link and you have to copy it and then paste it into your browser. Now, with your iPhone, you can do this. When you paste it into the browser, it's going to ask you which app you want to use to look at, do you want to do Safari or whatever? So just click on, you want to do Safari. And when you go to Safari, it'll take you to the desktop app for YouTube, and then you would just be able to go ahead and join. All right. Hey, Venetia. So yes, just take that link, click on the link, copy it, paste it to your browser. Okay. You guys, welcome back to the channel. Tonight we're going to be discussing 3 Americans that were found dead inside of their Airbnb in Mexico City. They went over to Mexico to celebrate the Day of the Dead, and we actually did some research and kind of found out what the Day of the Dead was about. Also, some history on the town that they were in and everything like that. So I want you guys to take a look at a video. It's about a 20-minute video. I want you to take a look at the video, and then I'm going to give you some commentary and I'm going to give you some history on the town, actually where the three went. And then we're going to tie it all in together, and you're going to see why all of this happened. Okay. So let's pull up our chairs, you guys. Get your popcorn, get your drink, whatever you got for about 20 minutes. You're going to be engrossed in this little snippet of a video. Okay. So let me share my screen. This is a video that I put together. This is our deep dive. We're going into 3 Americans found dead inside of an Airbnb in Mexico City. Is the Day of the Dead to fault? All right. So let me share this. All right. You guys are ready? Okay. 3 Americans were found dead inside of a rented apartment in Mexico City, Mexico, for a trip to celebrate the Day of the Dead. They rented an Airbnb in La Rosita, which is an upscale neighborhood that is close to Santa Fe. Now, the three were Candace Florence, Jordan Marshall, and Cortez Hall. Now, Candace and Jordan, they were actually friends, and Cortez and Jordan, they were friends. Candace was not really friendly with Cortez. He was just a friend of Jordan. So the three of them, I don't know how they hooked up and what the whole background is as to why they came together on this trip, but that's the logistics of it. Candace was friends with Jordan, and Jordan was friends with Cortez. Now, investigators believe that the trio died from carbon monoxide poisoning. Now, Jordan Marshall, he's 28. He was a 12th grade English teacher at a high school in New Orleans. He loved to travel, and when remembering him, his mother Jennifer said that in his short 28 years, she draws comfort from the fact in knowing that he did travel and he lived a very full life. She said that he was a bright ray of light, and anyone who came in contact with him never forgot him. He was very intellectual and curious and loved to be immersed in different cultures. Very passionate about his students and was a caring educator. Now, when speaking of Cortez Hall, who was Jordan's friend, he was 33 years old, and he also was a teacher. He taught 7th grade social studies in the city of New Orleans as well. And according to his sister, he loved to sing and dance and was known as the jokester of the family. Now, Candace Florence, she too was 28, and she was described as having a pure heart and mind who hated negativity. She was an ambitious hard worker with a sense of exploration, and she wanted to experience new things. She was known as a beautiful soul with a spark of light. Now, during the pandemic, Candace started a candle business called Glow Through It, and the mission of her business was to bring light to people since they were shut in and hurting during the quarantine. Now, the three friends, as I said, they were staying in an apartment that they found on Airbnb in the Mexican capital's La Rosita neighborhood. They were in the city to mark Dia de los Muertos, also known as the Day of the Dead. Now, traditionally, those celebrations are held on November 1st and November 2nd, and this is to honor the dead. Now, on the morning of October 30th, Candace spoke with her boyfriend, Victor Day, at about 4:10 EST. He had texted her, and when she texted him back, she said that she didn't feel well emotionally or physically. Now, what's wrong is what he replied in the text. And she said she wasn't feeling well and she wanted to come home. She said that she didn't like being there and she felt like she'd been drugged. And when they touched base on FaceTime, he said that she looked distressed. He tried to reach her back later in the morning, but he wasn't able to. So then he tried reaching her friend Jordan, and he was not successful in reaching him either. So after not hearing back from either one of them, he decided to reach out to the Airbnb host to ask if they would go and do a welfare check. So, about 10 to 15 minutes later, Victor says that the Airbnb host texted him back saying that all three of the occupants were actually in the Airbnb, but they were found unresponsive with no vital signs, and emergency services had been contacted. Just 10 to 15 minutes later. Now, keep that in mind. Now, when speaking on how she learned of her daughter's death, Candace's mother, Frida Florence, said that one of her sons called her and said, "Mom, Candace is no longer with us." She said that he repeated those words several times, and it took her hours to even process his words and to come to grips with the situation. She said that she felt despondent and emotionally distraught. Now, I want you to remember this account and how Candace's boyfriend, he recalled the events. He said that Candace told him via text that she wasn't feeling well emotionally or physically. She felt like she'd been drugged and she wanted to go home. Victor further said that via a FaceTime call, Candace looked distraught. So after trying to reach her and her friends later that morning, but was not able to, he contacts the Airbnb host, who reaches out to him just a quick 10 to 15 minutes later, writing back that all three were in the apartment and they were found unresponsive with no vital signs, and emergency services had been contacted. All of this in 15 minutes. So when Mexican authorities reported on this occurrence, the Attorney General's office said that they launched an investigation on October 30th. Quote, looking into the death of three foreigners derived from possible poisoning by gas inhalation. Now, expert studies indicated that the gas was carbon monoxide. Their report stated that after detecting an immense smell of gas in the apartment, security guards at a residential complex requested support from local authorities, and the statement said that the agents who arrived found the bodies of a woman and two men. Paramedics determined that they were dead at the scene, this report said. Now, the Attorney General's office then ordered investigations immediately on the same day, October the 30th. Now, one of Candace's brothers flew to Mexico City on November 2nd and identified her body the next day on November 3rd. Her body was returned to Virginia, and it took some time to clear customs before being released to a funeral home and her family. Jordan Marshall's mother traveled to Mexico City and ID'd his body, and after going through a series of steps, she was able to have his body sent back to the United States. Now, Cortez Hall's family learned of his death when the U.S. Embassy called his mother on October 31st, which was also his mother's birthday. And an embassy official told the family that Cortez had been found unresponsive and that foul play was not suspected. Now, working to bring Cortez's body back to the United States, the Hall family also had to set up a GoFundMe to help with his funeral expenses. Carbon monoxide is an odorless gas found in fumes from fuel burned in vehicles, ranges and stoves, lanterns, grills, fireplaces, furnaces, all of those things. Now, according to the CDC, symptoms of prolonged inhalation include headaches, dizziness, weakness, upset stomach, vomiting, chest pain, and confusion. So these could be the signs and the symptoms that Candace's boyfriend was seeing her showing in that FaceTime. Now, Airbnb called the deaths a terrible tragedy and said that it stood ready to assist with any inquiries when this first was made public. They said, our thoughts are with the families and loved ones as they grieve such an unimaginable loss. Our priority right now is supporting those impacted as the authorities investigate what happened, Airbnb said in their statement. Now, Jennifer Marshall, who is Jordan Marshall's mother, she wants her son's death to not be in vain, and she was calling for Airbnb and similar services to mandate the use of smoke and carbon monoxide detectors so that future tragedies can be avoided. Now, it was not immediately known whether they were working, if there were any detectors that were working in the apartment. So Airbnb strongly urges that the hosts, they need to install carbon monoxide detectors in the residences. They said that they offer free detectors to their hosts. Now, news of the deaths of Jordan, Cortez, and Candace came just months after there had been reports that three other Americans had died of carbon monoxide poisoning at a sandals resort on Bahamas' Great Exuma Island. Two couples reported feeling ill the night of May 5th of 2022, and they were seen by medical staff, Bahamian police said. The next day, Michael Phillips, 68, his wife Robbie Phillips, 65, and Vincent Paul Chiradella, 64, were found dead in their villas. Chiridalla's wife, Donis, she was airlifted to the capital of Nassau for further treatment before being transferred to Florida. She did not die, but the other ones did. So this sparks conversation about these villas, these Airbnbs, and the use of smoke detectors and what is actually going on with the carbon monoxide poisoning. So Candace, Jordan, and Cortez, they came to Mexico City to take part in celebrations for the Day of the Dead, which is a Mexican holiday where families welcome back the souls of their deceased relatives for a brief reunion that includes food, drink, and celebration. A blend of Mesoamerican ritual, European religion, and Spanish culture, this holiday is celebrated each year from October 31st to November 2nd. Now, while October 31st is Halloween, November 2nd is All Souls Day, or the Day of the Dead. Now, according to tradition, the gates of heaven are open at midnight on October 31st, and the spirits of children can rejoin their families for 24 hours. The spirits of adults can do the same on November the 2nd. Now, what are the origins of the Day of the Dead? So the roots of the Day of the Dead, celebrated in contemporary Mexico and among those of Mexican heritage in the US and around the world, go back some 3,000 years to rituals honoring the dead in pre-Columbian Mesoamerica. The Aztecs and other Nahua people living in what is now central Mexico saw death as an integral, ever-present part of life. Upon dying, a person was believed to travel to the land of the dead. Only after getting through 9 challenging levels, a journey that took several years, could their soul finally reach the final resting place. And in the Nahua rituals honoring the dead, traditionally held in August, family members provided food, water, and tools to aid the deceased in this difficult journey. This inspired the contemporary Day of the Dead practice, in which people leave food or other offerings on their loved ones' graves, or set them out on a makeshift altar, which is called an ofrenda. And they usually have these altars in their homes. Now, the Day of the Dead versus All Souls Day, I've heard people comparing the two. Now, in ancient Europe, a pagan celebration of the dead also took place in the fall, and it consisted of bonfires, dancing, and feasting. Some of these customs survived even after the rise of the Roman Catholic Church, which unofficially adopted them into their celebrations of 2 Catholic holidays, All Saints' Day and All Souls' Day, celebrated on the first 2 days of November. In medieval Spain, some people would bring wine and spirit bread to the graves of their loved ones on All Souls Day. They would also cover graves with flowers and light candles to illuminate the dead souls' way back to their homes on earth. In the 16th century, Spanish conquistadors brought such traditions with them to the New World, along with a darker view of death influenced by the devastation of the bubonic plague. So, how is the Day of the Dead celebrated? Now, commonly people thought that this is Mexico's version of Halloween, but that is not the case. The 2 holidays do share some traditions, including costume and parades, but on the Day of the Dead, it's believed that the border between the spirit world and the real world actually dissolves. During this brief period, the souls of the dead awaken and they return to the living world, to feast, drink, dance, and play music with their loved ones. In turn, the living family members treat the deceased as honored guests in their celebrations and leave the deceased's favorite foods and other offerings at their grave sites or the altars that are in the homes. Now, the altars that are in the homes, the ofrendas, they are often decorated with candles, bright marigolds called cempasúchili, and red coxcombs alongside food like tortillas and fruit. Now, I hope I did not demolish that word, but I don't know how to pronounce it. Cempasúchili, it's something like that. Now, the most prominent symbols that are related to the Day of the Dead are skeletons and skulls. Now, during contemporary Day of the Dead festivities, people commonly wear skull masks and they eat sugary candy molded into the shape of skulls. Other food and drink associated with the holiday, but consumed year round as well, include spicy dark chocolate and the corn-based drink called atoli. Now, though the particular customs and scale of the Day of the Dead celebrations, they continue to evolve, the heart of the holiday has remained the same over thousands of years. It's an occasion for remembering and celebrating those who have passed on from this world. Now, while at the same time portraying death in a more positive light as a natural part of the human experience. So the Day of the Dead, the intention is to celebrate dead loved ones. On the 31st, the children are allowed to come and, hang out with their family for 24 hours. And then on the 2nd of November, the adults are allowed to do this. Well, I think the whole thing with spirits and, communing with spirits, that's where people, where the demonic intentions and everything come in play, because you've got Halloween and you've got people that actually partake in satanic rituals around this time. So the Day of the Dead, I think, because of the skulls and the skeletons and the the pictures that represent the Day of the Dead, people get it confused with satanic rituals when really, that's not what the intention was at all. But as with anything, there are a lot of things that are exploited and people use them for evil. They take practices that were intended for one intention and then they exploit it and turn it into something else. So that's why it's good to do your research and it's good to be informed with anything that you speak about or that you're not sure about. It's good to get education on these things. Now, as far as these young people going over to this apartment, we don't know who this hostess was. We don't know what they may have had. It's very prevalent over there for them to have these altars in their home. So we don't know if there might have been an altar in there before they came there. We don't know if there were other people that might have celebrated this previous years. I'm not sure if just because on the 31st and the 2nd, when they partake in, allowing the spirits to come and roam, I'm not sure that they leave right after the 2nd and, the 31st and the 2nd. I don't know if they might linger. And I don't know what spirits, who these people, you can have relatives that come back that can be murderers. They can have evil intentions. Not all spirits are good spirits. Some people feel like they family members, they could be bringing cartel members back. They could be people bringing people back that were serial killers, but they loved Uncle Johnny. They loved Uncle Roberto. They loved Cousin Carmen. And here they could have been some evil people. So we don't know, who the hostess was and what could have been going down in that apartment before those people came there. So now let's take a look at this case a little deeper. Let's do a little deep dive. But before we do that, please drop down in the chat, in the comments, and let's have a conversation. Let me know what you think about all of this. The Day of the Dead. Were you aware of these practices? Did you know this is what it was all derived from? And Airbnb, do you think that they're to blame for this? Because judging by the information that I've had from doing the research, it appears that investigators actually found an issue with the apartment's gas boiler. One of the victims had been taking a shower during the time, and it activated carbon monoxide. So the boiler was, running with the hot water, and carbon monoxide was seeping from the boiler, and this is apparently what killed them. Now, I'm not an expert, but this just doesn't sit right with me. I mean, how long would that take? And how long of a shower do you think this person was taking? This also had to happen around 4:10 in the morning, because keep in mind, Candace was speaking with her boyfriend around that time. Now, he did say that she appeared, she just didn't look like herself. She was complaining that she wasn't feeling well. So this could have been what he was seeing. But we do know that carbon monoxide, it is called the silent killer because it's odorless, it's invisible, colorless. And according to the Department of Health, when people are actually exposed to it, CO molecules will displace the oxygen in their bodies, which actually leads to the poisoning. Now, because it can't be detected or smelled, it's not visible, dangerous concentrations can build up indoors without people being able to detect the problem until they actually become sick. Now, when people do become sick, CO poisoning symptoms can be similar to those with the flu. This can lead victims to ignore the problem until it's too late, because they think that they just have flu symptoms. And it could be headaches, dizziness, weakness, nausea, vomiting, even chest pains. High levels of inhalation can cause a loss of consciousness and even death. Now, the Center for Disease Control says that carbon monoxide is the leading cause of accidental poisoning deaths in America, leading to over 430 deaths and over 50,000 ER visits each year. Up to 40% of survivors of severe CO poisoning can develop memory impairment and other serious illnesses. So, you guys, I know that the skipping was probably, a bit irritating, but I have no idea why YouTube does that when we are educating people. If I was up here talking a bunch of mess, it would be just fine. I know we're having some weather here, but my stream health is showing 100%. So I don't know why the skipping was going on, but we still gonna get into this, and I'm just gonna cover it verbally. So what we have here, we have 3 Americans, okay? They went overseas to Mexico. And I'm not going to say that the Day of the Dead is the cause for this, but they went over there to celebrate the Day of the Dead. Earlier today, we had a conversation about the Day of the Dead, and some people were offended because I stated that the Day of the Dead, it's based on ritualistic practices, it's pagan, and even though it might derive from the Spanish conquistadors and Catholic principles, All Souls Day, All Saints Day, the Bible, if you are a Christian, I'm not a staunch Christian, but if we are going to say that this is based on Christian principles, the Bible says that you aren't to consort with spirits. You're not supposed to be consorting with dead spirits, familiar spirits, or any of that. So a lot of this is contradictory, because if you're not supposed to be doing that, and if the Bible speaks about familiar spirits and not conjuring up the dead, or even saying that the dead, your soul is your actual being, and once you die, your soul, it's gone, and it goes back to the creator or whatever, then that would mean that your soul, there's no spirits wandering around. In reading the Bible, it says that the familiar spirits, they can get familiar with the living person that lived on earth. So they know what the person would have liked. They know what the person would have said. That's why they're called familiar spirits. So these demons and these forces will make a person think that it is your loved one, that it is the person that you're channeling in a sense, or that you're trying to leave offerings for and all of this, and they'll make you think that it is that person. And that's the research that we're going to take a look at with Christians, and this whole idea that All Saints Day and All Souls Day, just because Catholics and Christian people participate with it, it doesn't make it right, and it doesn't make it, that it should be done. In my mind, I think that any type of communicating with demons or anything like that is dangerous, especially if you do not know who it is that you and what it is that you're dealing with. Now, when these women, this woman and these two boys went over there. Now, this is when I was doing the research on this story. What I found interesting was that Candace was friends with Jordan. She wasn't friends with the other one, Cortez. She went over there with these two guys, and I'm trying to figure out what was the whole reasoning for them just connecting like this and going over there. She was high school friends or, childhood friends with Jordan. So when her fiance reached out, or boyfriend reached out to her on the phone, she had only been there. So October 30th is when all of this happened. So they had not been there long. So how did her spirit get affected that fast to where as though she wasn't feeling well? She didn't want to be there. She wanted to go home. Physically, mentally, she was done. She was over it already. You're supposed to be on vacation. You're supposed to be somewhere enjoying yourself, and you're over it already. So that was one thing that I was like, okay, that doesn't make any sense to me. Then she said she felt like she was drugged. She felt like she had been drugged. So when the investigators, once all of this had happened, and they said that a security guards or whatever was on the premises and they smelled gas and they smelled the odor. And so they called the paramedics, who then came, and the people found that they were in there deceased. So if this is carbon monoxide that doesn't have a smell, how did they smell gas? That's my first thing. If this is a carbon monoxide poisoning and they say carbon monoxide is a silent killer, how was it that they smelled gas? That's where I'm at. Then I'm like, when I read this statement, the statement said that security guards from another complex, not security guards from where they were staying. So how is it that security guards were all near the apartment where they were staying at to know that anything was not, was smelling, or that there was a situation? They were not even on that residence. They were somewhere else. So you just have to pay attention to the wording. Something just doesn't sit right with me, doesn't sit right with my spirit with this. Something seems off with this situation. I don't know if maybe they had been ingesting alcohol in there. Maybe somebody gave them some alcohol and then they tried to cover it up, because there has been situations in Mexico where people are dying from fake alcohol. I know during COVID, starting in the year 2020, there had been some deaths from fake liquor in Mexico because of the shortage of alcohol due to the pandemic. So I don't know if some of these bottles are still floating around and maybe something like that, but it just don't sit right with me. Then they said that they, during the investigation, that once they did and they investigated the home and everything, they found that the boiler, that I guess a person was taking a shower, and the boiler, the hot water heater, that's what the carbon monoxide was seeping from. Because, when you turn on the hot water to take a shower, that's going to make the boiler fire up. And then that's what was making the carbon monoxide leak into the house. That doesn't sit right with me. It doesn't take, you're going to take a shower 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes. 15 minutes the most. I'm not understanding how that much carbon monoxide would have reached up into the house through the vents and everything that fast to kill that many people, 3 people all at one shot. I can see maybe someone getting sick and maybe running outside. Like you would think, maybe I need to get some air or something like that. But it was 4:10 in the morning. Could have been, maybe she fell asleep, the other one fell asleep, and they inhaled it. But who would have been taking a shower at 4:10 in the morning? Because remember, Candace was speaking with her boyfriend at 4:10 in the morning. So if she was lightheaded and she was feeling dizzy and everything at that time, she would have been inhaling this carbon monoxide from a person taking a shower. Who's taking a shower at 4:10? It's only three of them in there. So it just doesn't feel right. It feels like there's something missing. But, we over there, we talking about Mexico. When you're getting in these foreign countries and stuff, they got a whole different, way of doing things legally, police investigations and all that. It's a whole different ball game. So who would know if they would really investigate it and get to the bottom of it? Because, they don't want their people to get in trouble. That's another thing too. They cover a lot of shit up. They wouldn't want people getting exposed and getting in trouble. So who's to say that we would ever even really find out what was happening? But in doing my research, I also went and dug a little deeper and dug into the history of this town, right? So they went to this town. It's called La Rosita. That is where the Airbnb was, in the Mexican city of La Rosita. And this is supposed to be an upscale neighborhood. This is supposed to be like a trendy area. I guess that's where they got the Airbnbs that are trendy, because this town in the city in Mexico, all around it, it's destitute, it's poor, it's not really good living conditions. But in La Rosita, it's supposed to be trendy, upscale, up and coming, right? So you picture and you guys have to excuse me, my neighbors, they're young kids, honey. They're upstairs partying because one of them just turned 21. So they are loud. They got their music pumping, child. They screaming and hollering. When they rap songs come on, they're like, whoa, whoa. They doing all that. So if you hear that in the background, that's my crazy behind neighbors upstairs. They did invite me to the party, child, but I said, y'all young people, I can't party with y'all young people. Now, Faye was debating on whether she was going to go up there because they invited her too. But you know how they do, Sometimes you don't want to form relationships with the people that you live around. You try to keep that, you know what I mean? Because sometimes it don't work out well. So she was debating on whether she was going to be friends with these people or not. So yeah, if you hear that in the background, child, that's what they doing. They up there partying. Sound like they getting ready to come through the goddamn floor. But anyway, anywho. So when I was doing the research on this town, look what I discovered, you guys. Now, what did they say they went there for? They went there for the Day of the Dead celebrations. And what did we say the Day of the Dead was? And what do we say is happening in this town on the Day of the Dead, right? So from October 31st to November 2nd, this is the time where the veil is the thinnest between the living and the living realm and the death realm. This is when the doors are supposed to be open and the spirits can travel freely back and forth, right? So they said on October 31st, this is when the children are allowed to come out and play. This is around, for 24 hours. Then on November 2nd, this is when the adults are supposed to be able to come out and play, right? But this whole time between October 31st, November 2nd, this is when the veil is, so there's supposed to be all kinds of spirits just roaming around. Now, picture this. You are in a town called La Rosita, okay? This town, guess what this town was founded on? Now, listen. Now, I'm going to bring this up. See, this is why you got to research stuff. And this is what the people get mad at me about, because see, I get these receipts and they, it's not like I be trying to prove a point and trying to make them, prove them wrong. But I hope they come back and they apologize to me, because see, they was all in my comments earlier trying to eat me up about this. But this is facts. So now let me pull up Wikipedia, and I'm going to give you the history of this La Rosita town in Mexico. Now, it is a northeastern part of Coahuila in northern Mexico. It lies about 11 kilometers northwest of the city of Sabanas on Federal Highway 57 and serves as the municipal seat of San Juan de Sabinas municipality. In 1990, the town was recorded at having a population of 36,284. Now, listen at this. The town was initially developed in the 1930s, okay? This is when the town was initially created. Thank you, Teresa, for the $10. And I wanted to remind everyone, if you are going to donate to the channel, please do it in the form of super chats. Cash apps are welcome, but I would prefer be super chats, super stickers through YouTube, because that's going to be my Christmas money. We're going to be able to get our Christmas money by the 21st of December. So thank you, Teresa, for my $10 Christmas gift. That's going to go towards my last minute Christmas shopping, y'all. So anything that you donate to the channel, please do it in the form of super chats, super stickers and stuff. I mean, if you do send a cash app, that's great too, but all the membership money, all of that, we're going to get that in our YouTube check. That's going to be my bonus. Yes. So thank you guys for your support. So this town was founded back in 1930. Hey, Woo Child. Hey, girl. Teresa, I see y'all sneaking on up in here. Trick Mama. I see y'all, Miss Bug Butt. Hey, y'all. Okay, so the town was founded back in 1930. But dig this. It remains today as an important manufacturing center for the north of Mexico. The area is the site of a coal mine owned by Grupo Mexico. On February 19th in 2006, an explosion occurred in the mine, trapping more than 60 miners underground. Okay? An explosion, a coal mine. This is the site in the area of those 60 miners that were trapped underground. Now, I don't know how many people, if they all lost their lives, all 60. I don't know if they all survived. I don't know. But I didn't dig any farther into that. I can do it while we're live. I think I'm gonna look it up really quickly to see how many people, if any of them, passed or perished. But I thought it was, coincidental. Like, wow, they died of smoke inhalation. If they died under there and were trapped, any miners, it would have been a smoke inhalation, coal mine fire explosion. And here it is, the three of them, they are over there, and they died from carbon monoxide. So it's the same mind frame of, you have to be careful what spirits you are consorting with. If these people are wandering around, these dead people, it could be people that was down there trapped, child, and they said, honey, we're going to go in there and play with somebody's we're going to go in there and play with somebody's boilers and things. I'm just like, wow, you just don't know the history of towns, and people done got trapped under coal mines. And here it is, you're going to this town for what? To celebrate the Day of the Dead. So the type of spirits and people that done died in that town, they're wandering through there. That's what it would be. That's what you're going there to celebrate, correct? All spirits aren't friendly. All spirits ain't there to welcome you. All spirits don't want to, there might be some spirits that want to cause you some harm. Right? So I'm going to look this up really quickly. I want to see if any of these coal miners, if any of them died in that town. Let me look really quickly. I want to check that out. Yeah. So Mexican government declares it will take months to retrieve the bodies of the coal miners. So let's see. So it looks like maybe 10 of them. Let me see if this is the right town. Phase in there. Okay, I don't know. That might have been. Hey, Miss Bugbutt, thank you for the $9.99. Exactly, Coach. I need an all-inclusive 5-star resort. No Airbnb. Okay, I'm with you. So let's see. Okay, this is it right here. Explosion trapped 65 miners in Mexico. This was in 2006. This is it right here. A gas buildup trapping at least 65 coal miners underground with a limited supply of oxygen. Trapped miners were in extreme danger. The company Grupo Mexico, at least 8 miners who had been near the mine's exit when the explosion occurred were rescued and were hospitalized with burns and broken bones. A statement by the miners said 65 people were trapped below the surface, but said there were 66 miners still underground. Family members waiting outside did not know how long it would take to reach the trapped miners. I'm trying to see how many, if any of them, if they all were rescued or if any of them. There have been various fatal mining accidents. That was another. It doesn't say. I would have to do some more digging. But it doesn't say. But even still, I mean, that's the town they went to. They went to a town. Now, I mean, I would wonder, like, a mining town would have Airbnbs that were luxurious, you know what I mean? So it probably would be some old Airbnbs, and they might not be up to date Airbnbs where they have state of the art, you know what I'm saying? Carbon monoxide detectors, and they're not up to par and up to code. They probably are older dwellings. Like, I think it was Teresa or Miss Bugbutt. One of you guys said that. Who said that earlier? One of you guys said it. That it, might have been an older dwelling. But yeah, I mean, looking at the pictures of the town, it just looks kind of old and downtrodden. So, going over there for the Day of the Dead to celebrate something like that and take part in those celebrations at a time where the veil is the thinnest and spirits are roaming around in a town where mining accidents have occurred. People have lost their lives, to mining accidents. And then you go over there and celebrate the Day of the Dead and you die from smoke inhalation because of some CO2 poisoning. That is just very coincidental to me. So I don't play with those spirits. I don't play with that. You really need to know what it is you're partaking in and celebrating. And that's all my point was earlier today. The Day of the Dead, whether or not it derives from All Saints Day or All Souls Day or whatever, it is still, those holidays are still honoring and dealing with spirits and dead people. And in the Bible, if these people are Christian and they're supposed to be following the Christian religion, it states that when you're dead, you're dead. There is no communicating with dead people. There is no communicating with that other realm. So when you're communicating with that realm, you're communicating with, you could be communicating with demonic forces. You could be communicating with familiar spirits. You might not be communicating with your loved one. That might be some spirit that's acting like it's your loved one, because it's been around and it's been looking and studying the habits of people. So it's mimicking what it saw. So you just got to be careful and know what it is that you're dealing with and interacting with when you take on stuff like this. And I don't feel bad for saying that earlier today. It is not a Christian holiday. I don't know where they get it's based on pagan and rituals. Period. Now, we have an article from an actual pastor, or I would say a religious figure or person in Mexico that's saying that Christians should not celebrate the Day of the Dead. It's not a Christian holiday. It is pagan in nature. They should not participate in it at all. Okay? So let's look at some of these scriptures. I wanted to, because see, you gotta, people that come in and they say, well, this is that and this is this. You have to show them where this, no, it's not that. It is this. So the thinning of the veil, do you guys understand what that is? And when we're saying that, the thinning of the veil, let's read that. Let me get that. Yeah, all holidays are fully pagan, although the Bible is also full of rituals as well. We have to keep it real with that too. Yes, the Bible is full of it. Anything is a ritual. You know what I mean? Most of this stuff that we practice and do, they're all rituals. Anything that you do repetitive and it is ritualistic. But I'm speaking about, demonic. It is a demonic ritual to partake in when you conversing with demons and spirits. It's really not your family member. I mean, it's just really not. Those people are gone. They're gone. Now, if we want to say they are, then you just say they are. But in my opinion, I don't believe they are. I believe that it's familiar spirits. I believe that they got familiar with the people that they saw, and that's the way in. Even like when you sage, like say when people sage their house, right? Because they're doing crystal work and tarot cards and all that tells you that you're supposed to use sage to get rid of certain spirits and different things. Well, you don't know if you're a person that you don't have no type of spiritual power, you don't have no type of discernment when it comes to any of this. You just going in it blindly. Oh, I'm gonna use sage because the people said you supposed to use sage, and you don't even know what it is you're doing. So you just burning sage. You don't have no power, right? You might go in there, burn the sage, and the spirits might make you think that they left, child. All they did was get quiet. All they did was just get back up in the corner and act like they gone. But then maybe 2 days later, the same shit that was going on going to go right back to going on because you ain't got no power in the situation. You got to figure out where the power is coming from. Right? So I'm not going to get all into what I believe. I'm not going to get all into none of that because a lot of times people get offended and then we get into a whole big old argument. Then I got people unsubscribing because they feel like, oh, I don't like what she said. So I'm not getting into religion. I'm just not. All I'm doing is giving you guys the information. I'm not saying that I believe or don't believe in anything. I'm giving you the information and you do it with it whatever you want to do with it. But what I am saying is that spirits could be demonic and they could be good. That's with anything. It could be dark. It could be light. It's the intention. People could have good intentions, just like spirits can have bad intentions and good intentions. Everything is an intention. So my whole thing is, if you're stepping into something like they went over there, 3 of them, they stepped out of what was familiar to them, the United States, and they went over to a foreign country. That is a foreign country, whether it's Mexico or not, right over the border, it is still a foreign country. Okay, so what you confused about? What you confused about? This is the person that came in earlier too. So you tell me what are you confused about? Because I don't think anybody else is confused. So you tell me what you're confused about, and let's see if you can get unconfused. You tell me what you're confused about. If you're confused, let me know so that I can kind of like, explain what it is that I'm saying. Because I'm not gonna, I don't like to tell people what it is that I think, so I'm really trying to choose my words wisely, and carefully. So I might be confusing you because I'm not coming right out and saying what it is that I really want to say, but because I'm not going to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to tell people what I really would believe because that's offensive. I don't want to offend anybody. So I'm trying to be careful in my words because I don't want to offend anybody. So what is it that you are confused about? But there are good rituals. As far as contacting the dead, I think the Most High doesn't want us to do that because it disturbs their spirit. I don't know about that. I'm just saying that you should be careful in anything that you do. And with anything, it's always about intention. That's all I'm saying. You just have to be careful because you don't know what it is that you are. There's people that died that their intention wasn't good. You got people that died that was killing people. You got people that died that were mass murderers. You got people that died that were demonic in their spirit. So you don't know what kind of spirits you can be awakening. You're going over there to celebrate the Day of the Dead, right? Are you going over there to celebrate your ancestors or your relatives? They're not over there. They're not in Mexico. So you had no business over there celebrating spirits and forces that you don't have any ties to. Does that unconfuse it? Like, okay, they went over to Mexico to celebrate the Day of the Dead. The Day of the Dead is supposed to be for family members to celebrate their loved ones. They are leaving out food. They're putting out their favorite things on these altars. Their intention is to contact their loved one. So why did you go over to Mexico to celebrate the Day of the Dead? You're supposed to be celebrating your ancestors at this time. So you should be, these people go to their grave sites. They go to this where their ancestors are and leave gifts, leave offerings, leave food, leave flowers on their graves. Your ancestors and the people that you are celebrating are not in Mexico. So why are you there taking part in a ritual that you don't have anything to do with over there? That's my point. You should not be surprised that something like this happened. Their spirits can stay. Those spirits can stay where they at. I hear you, Dion. I'm still waiting on Magic Monroe. Well, have you gone to a Day of the Dead celebration? No, I have not gone to one, and I wouldn't plan on going to any of them. I don't have any intention on going. Like I said, we did research on it and we gave the history of it and what it's about. I don't need to go to know what it is about. I'm looking at what it is about. I watch videos about what they do. I seen what they do. I read about what they do. I don't need to go to say whether or not, you know what I'm saying? I don't need to go. I think you said it earlier and you're saying it now. This is not a personal attack towards anyone's belief. We can find fault in all religious and spiritual beliefs and practices, but you need to be careful, period. Like, I'm not saying that it's wrong or right or anything. What I'm saying is you need to be careful. You need to know what you're doing when you do anything. You need to be informed. You need to be educated because you don't want to get in and step in something that you don't know about. Anything, you need to be educated, period. I need to know what I'm doing. Did they go down to MZ to take part in the actual ritual or just because it's festive and party like during that time? See, I don't know. And that's where I'm at with it because just their linking up is weird. The girl didn't know the third guy. The first guy, the Okay. She says, okay, that's fine. But it seems like you're making connections that aren't connecting. No, I think because you want me to not, you don't want it to make sense. Everyone else understands what it is I'm saying. I think because you don't want it to connect and you want to find fault in it. So, you know what I mean? It's coming across that way to you. I know exactly what it is I'm saying. And I'm saying it the best way I can without putting my own feelings into it because I'm trying to stay impartial. I don't want to give and make anyone feel like I'm downing anyone. So, whether or not they went over there to partake in a ritual or not, we will never know because we're not there. We didn't speak to them. And what's odd to me is that the girl did not know the third guy. She knew the second guy, and it was like she only knew them from school. First of all, why are you going over there with two guys that are just your friends? All right. You left your boyfriend home, who then contacted you and asked you on the first day, how did you feel? How did you feel? She wasn't happy. She was not festive. She, from the get go, was feeling, she said, mentally, physically, she was feeling bad and she was ready to go home. Now, you went there to be festive and you're not excited? Like, what? Like, why is your mood down and your spirit down if you went to go celebrate and take part in festivities? That's where I'm at. I'm like, I don't understand. Now, I guess people, have relationships with friends and you can go travel with guys that are your friends, but it's just weird. Like, she went with two guys, one she didn't know and the one she did know. That just seems weird to me. What were you doing over there? What was the point? You needed to go all the way to, you didn't take your boyfriend? You needed to go all the way to Mexico to go celebrate the Day of the Dead. That's weird. Right. Now, that's the part of the story that is weird. How did the three of them decide to take this trip together? That's where I'm at. Like, what were they going over there to do? Their family knew exactly what their family knew exactly what. Yeah, we do know that she had that. We know that she had that. But so he said he was on the phone with her. Said he was on the phone with her and she just didn't seem like herself. She said she felt like she had been drugged. Now, mind you, see, this is where I don't know if y'all came in if you didn't watch the information that if you didn't watch the information, yeah, I do know carbon monoxide poisoning makes people act funny, but if you didn't watch what it was that we put out, if you just came in, you can't just start commenting if you didn't get all the information. The authorities said that the carbon monoxide started seeping out because the shower was running. So the shower can't be running the entire time. So they said that the boiler, once they turned the water on and the hot water heater heated up, that's what made the carbon monoxide seep through the house. Now, if you want to tell me that it was seeping through the house the whole time they were there, then I can say, well, as soon as they stepped in there, it was a death trap because they started breathing in carbon monoxide. Then I could say, okay, I see that. But what they said was the carbon monoxide started seeping through the house when they turned that shower on. Now, we know that the girl was talking to her boyfriend at 4:10 in the morning. So you mean to tell me it says that somebody was taking a shower at 4:10 in the morning? Hold up, you guys. Okay. So if you are taking a shower, how long does it take for carbon monoxide to seep through and go through the vents, and then people pass away from that? I need to know what levels, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just see, like, I know that people get emotional and then they just take whatever information is given to them and whatever people say, but it doesn't make sense to me. Now, there was a couple, 4 people that this just happened to. The video that we played right before this happened to them in the Bahamas. Now, dig this. One person survived, but the other 3 died. One person was sick, to the point where they didn't die. They were airlifted to a hospital and then they were recuperated. So in this situation, all 3 of them died from carbon monoxide. This is what they're saying. This is what the people in Mexico are saying. But the information is contradictory, because in the report, in the Mexican authorities' report, they stated that the way they found them was that security guards were walking around and they smelled gas. And so they went over to the apartment and then they called the authorities, who then came and found them in the house. That's what the report says from the Mexican people. But the boyfriend says that he was on the phone with his girlfriend and the phone went silent at 4:10. He then called her back a few hours later, could not reach her friend. So then he contacted the Airbnb hostess, who then called him back only 10 or 15 minutes later and said, yeah, they've been found. And they're found unresponsive because they, the smoke or whatever, the carbon monoxide. So he was even saying like he just went numb. His ears everything just went blank, because how does somebody just tell you in 10 to 15 minutes that boom, they're, all of them were found dead in the house? So which one was it? Did the boy call and alert, that, hey, something's wrong, go do a welfare check? And then the hostess sent somebody out there to do a welfare check? Or when she sent somebody to do the welfare check, did they already walk and stumble upon this investigation because the security people had already found them? So, like, it's a lot of little missing pieces. Like, we don't know, because that's the whole purpose of doing these type of videos. You do these type of deep dives. You just talk about what it is you think could have happened. I'm not the professional. I'm not over there. I don't know. Like, y'all be like acting like I'm supposed to know. I'm giving my commentary as to what I think could have happened. You know what I'm saying? I'm not there. I don't know. And then I got to be careful with what I say, because I don't want to offend anybody. And people say, oh, well, you're like them. Oh, you're giving wrong information. Like, no, I don't want to give out wrong information. So the house, the 3 people were staying in the only house is the only house in the area. If not, why did the security guard randomly specifically smell gas in their Airbnb? Okay. And then they say it's not a house. It was an apartment. It wasn't a house. It was an apartment. It was a rental. So then we don't know if it was in a unit. You know what I'm saying? Like, the way they gave the report is very contradictory. Like, one thing they're saying one thing, then the boyfriend is saying something else. So with these things that look suspicious, that's how it always is. They're over there in those countries. They're not going to give you you're not going to get the real story. You know what I'm saying? Like, corruption is very prevalent in Mexico. It's very prevalent. So how do you know that? As a family members, they're all having those same questions. How do you know that that's true? How do you know that that's what happened? It's not, it just doesn't sound, all of it just don't sound right. It sounds odd. It sounds weird. First of all, I don't understand why 3 random people would just go take a trip to Mexico. Like, why would a girl go over there with one guy she knows and one she don't know? What? That just doesn't seem right. And then you're not even with your boyfriend. You're with someone you don't know and a guy you do know. And it's just a friend that you went to school with. You tell me how many people in the comments is going to just randomly go on a trip with 2 guys. They don't know one of them, and they just kind of are, friendly with the other one. We went to school together. Yeah, I'm going to go to Mexico. So I'm trying to figure out what was the real reason for this trip? What were they going over there to really do? Right? The family seems to know that they went over there for the Day of the Dead celebrations. Could they just went over there to have fun? Why did you need to go all the way to Mexico to celebrate that and have fun with 2 guys? Like, okay, I would have brought my man with me. That just don't make sense to me. I don't know. You let me know if that makes sense to you. It doesn't make sense to me. Ladies in the chat, would your man let you go with 2 men to Mexico? So since we all want to act like, oh, these things are just normal, that's just a part of life. The ladies that are in the chat right now, let me know how many of your men will let you go to Mexico with 2 men. Mine is not having it. So raise your hand in the chat if your man is going to let you do that. Can I get some hand? I don't see any. Hello? Did my mic go off? I don't see any. I don't see any hands. Coach said, that's a big nope. If hell freezes over. Dion says, I know my wife wouldn't, period. Adriana, you laughing? I mean, come on. We, sometimes we ain't doing these videos and we trying to, be all technical, and I'm trying to be all perfect with how I'm saying stuff to hold down a commentary. But come on, let's just keep it real. Is your loved one going to let you go over to any country like Mexico? That's far. I can't just jump in the car and go get my woman. Okay. Right. And why would you want to go without him? That's another thing. I wouldn't even want to go to Mexico without my man. That's something I want to do with my man. We want to catch the sunrise, go on the beach, drink, and have a good time. Why would you be going with a man you don't know and a guy that you're cool with? That sounds suspect. Short answer, no. Long answer, hell no. Come on, right? Keep it real. Stop it. But see, that's what they do. Y'all know they come in here and they troll me and they try to throw me off my square. I'm not going to always have the perfect answer for everything because I'm not perfect. I was not over there. I don't know. You weren't over there. You don't know. That's what a deep dive is. You sit and you give different explanations for things and you talk about what could have possibly happened. My theory and how I think, I'm not the end all and be all. Just because this is my channel doesn't mean that I'm right about everything. So what I try to do is just give you and present you with what it is. I'm telling you what the Day of the Dead is. I'm telling you what Christian religion states. Christian religion states when people are dead, they are dead. And you should not be consorting or trying to communicate with their spirit. That's what the Bible says. If you want to come at it from a Christian point of view. A lot of people that are coming up in here trying to defend this Day of the Dead have no idea what it is, did not even know that on October 31st, children roam for 24 hours. And then on November 2nd, that's when the adults come out and play. I bet y'all didn't know that little tidbit of information, did you? No, you just look at the pretty little, face paints and, it's innocent. They're just trying to normalize death and celebrate their dead loved ones. But if you're saying that you're Christian and you're saying you're Catholic, Catholic is derived from Christianity, then your Bible is telling you that you're not supposed to consort with dead people. They are dead. So why are you compromising if that's what your Bible says? Your Bible says those are familiar spirits and you should not be dealing with them. You shouldn't be consorting with them or communicating with them. Period. Now that's not what I'm saying. That's what the Bible says. So this is why all this stuff, it's a big contradiction, and that's why it's just like, hey, if you want to do what you want to do, you do what you want to do, but you better goddamn know what it is that you're doing, because your life could be in jeopardy if you don't know. You need to do research when you're going into towns that you don't know shit about. You need to be doing research on these damn homes and places that you are renting. Who is the damn hostess? What they about? Especially going to Mexico. You don't know. There's been a lot of shit going down in Mexico. There's been a lot of shit going down in Mexico, and a lot of it could be spiritual. Why is all these people over there losing their life in Mexico? You got fake liquor, people dying from fake liquor. You have no idea what it is that these people are celebrating when they over there. You don't even know the language. You over there speaking, and they're speaking the language. You don't know the language. You don't know what it is that they're doing. They build altars in their homes where they're inviting spirits into them around this time. You don't know if someone was just in there doing that before you got there. You don't know if there's altars downstairs somewhere. You don't know, do you? No, but it's, oh, you going too deep. Oh, you going too far. Oh, now it's just fun, festivities. See, that's how we get trapped up in the shit. Oh, it's just fun. You taking the fun out of everything. Why are you so serious? And then you dealing with some shit you not even educated on. The Day of the Dead, especially over there in Mexico, okay, they are celebrating their dead loved ones. Their dead loved ones. They specifically got the pictures of the people who they want to celebrate. They put out their favorite foods. They put out their favorite drinks. They honor them on these altars. They even honor them at their grave sites, right? So if you have 3 American citizens that came there to so-called party and take part in the festivities, what are you taking part in? These are not your relatives. Your relatives are in the United States. You're over there celebrating the dead. And this is a serious holiday for these people. So they have conjured up all of their dead relatives, and your ass is over there. You ain't conjured yours up because yours is in America. Those grave sites and all that's over there. So you over there around all these spirits and everything that you don't even know these people. Yeah, okay. Keep playing with spirits. Keep playing with demons. Yeah. Oh, but no, Sweet Pea, that's not what it is. You don't know what you're talking about. How? Those were the words. We just read it. We just researched it. That's what it is. It is dead people that they are communicating with, that they are bringing back. The veil is the thinnest between October 31st and November 2nd. The doors are open between the dead realm, dead, whatever you want to call it, and the living realm. And the spirits can roam back and forth freely. That is the meaning of it. All right? On the 31st, they said the kids roam for 24 hours. The dead children, they come and they be with their families. Then on the 2nd, that's when the adults come. Now, over there in Mexico, you got a lot of cartel members. You got a lot of people that done died in that drug trade over there. You got people that did all kinds of murders and everything over there. So they conjuring up these people. Do you think that their spirit automatically turned nice when they died? So how you know what their intentions are? They might have came to that house and thought that, oh, hey, I thought I was coming to visit Rosa, and I done seen Candace, Cortez, and Jordan up here in this house. What the hell they doing here? Y'all laughing and y'all thinking, but y'all better be serious playing with these guys. That you better act like you know. You better do the research. Moral of the day: leave them demons alone. And the reason why I'm saying that, your word, if you are a Christian and if you are a Catholic, you use the Bible, right? Well, your Bible says that you aren't supposed to be, communicating with spirits and dead people, that they're dead, that they don't communicate, they don't come back, they're dead. They are not wandering, they're dead. It says that in the Bible, and that those spirits are familiar spirits, and you should not be, okay, you don't believe me? Here we go. I'm just trying to figure out, what is it that what are they trying to come at me with? What are they saying? Because they said, oh, it's based off of All Hallows, All Saints Day and All Souls Day. Okay, but it's the same thing. Celebrating dead people. It is a ritual. The Catholics do it. We had a picture of the Pope over there putting flowers on a grave, celebrating and honoring a dead person. So what you say, it's nothing wrong with it. Everything has a purpose. There's a purpose and there's a reason for everything that is done. And they say, well, it's derived from this. It's not evil. Okay, so what is the purpose of the skulls and the skeleton, the face paintings, and it looking so evil and demonic? Why doesn't it look angelic? I want to know, why isn't the representation of the dead angels? Why don't they look happy? Why don't they look alive? Why do they have to look dead? Oh, because it's the Day of the Dead, so they're supposed to, but they look evil. They look demonic. Why can't they look happy? Why can't they look like the person that died? Why they got to be looking like dead demonic demons? I think that's a valid question. All of the people that are educated on the Day of the Dead, all the trolls that are in the building that are educated on this, can you give me that answer? Why do they look demonic? Why do they not look happy? Exactly. No offense, but some spirits need to stay where they are. Like I said, there's some people out there that did some really pretty nasty things, and you don't know you conjuring them up. Well, I think I'm going, wait a minute. My kids were sending me. I celebrate fall. I put decorations pertaining to fall. I don't put up Halloween decorations. I put up pumpkins, but I don't make jack-o'-lanterns. Yeah, I don't have a belief. I don't, I'm not coming up here condemning anybody, right? So I'm not, anything that people want to do that makes them happy. I'm all about people being a good human being. If it makes you happy, even this, if it makes you happy, do it. All I'm saying is be educated. I don't think that the three that went over there were educated in what they were doing. It was reckless. To me, it doesn't even look organized. How you over there with people, some dude you don't know, you over there with a friend, and then you talking to your man on the phone and you're not even happy. And people say, well, because she was the carbon monoxide, she was being poisoned. Okay, well, that's not what the authority said. The authority said the carbon monoxide didn't come into play until they turned the shower on. Did you not hear that? So I need answers. Did the carbon monoxide play a part during the shower, or are you guys thinking that it was the entire time? That ain't what they said. They said the carbon monoxide came out during the shower. So see, the people that came in, they was trying to trip me up. I blocked y'all. Cause see, y'all not gonna confuse the chat and wreak havoc and cause chaos in the chat. That's why you're blocked. Let me check, Dion. Oh, thank you, D. I love you, girl. Thank you for the Cash App. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. And so thank you for the support, Dion. And so that's where I'm at. I'm like, they try to come in and they try to confuse the chat. They, try to cause havoc, and they try to make me feel like I don't have control over what I'm saying when I know exactly what I'm saying. I'm saying research. I'm saying be educated. Anything you do in life, you should know what it is that you're doing, and you should be careful. You shouldn't just go blindly into things and just jumping headfirst into something that you don't know about. All fun ain't fun. All fun ain't good. Look, they're dead. They went over there to take part in the festivities, the one girl said. How? How was you over there having fun with a boy you don't know and someone that you're just cordial with, you went to school with? Yeah, y'all might be cool. Y'all took a little picture. He, ha, ha. We look like we buddies. But I don't know the other dude. That's his friend. So was those two, were they lovers or something? Cortez and Jordan, was they going over there hooking up? And she was like the decoy, because she said that was his friend. That don't sound right to me. Y'all just overlooked that. All three people, 3 Americans, they did carbon monoxide point. First of all, what the hell was they doing? That setup don't even sound right. You over there with some boy you don't know. You over there, your man tried to contact you. When he did, you wasn't looking right. You said you felt like you was drugged. You was ready to go home. You just got there. You're supposed to be exploring. What are you doing in the room? Y'all over there to have a good time. What are you doing in the room? You over there not feeling good already. Huh? It just doesn't sound right. Her mood, how she was feeling, just don't sound right. So were they over there taking part in rituals? Do we think they went over there for some type of demonic rituals? People are into witchcraft. I hate to break it to you, but people are into all types of black magic. Did they go over there to go get some type of trinket or get something to do a ritual? We don't know what people was doing. I'm a spiritual, not religious being who does not talk down on anyone, who is my mother and grandmother and so on. Okay, we're hoodoo spiritual workers. My grandmother on my dad's side was Pentecostal. Okay, like I don't have, so I honor all of them on my altar. Awesome. If that is what you like to do, makes sense. You know what I'm saying? If that's what makes you a good human and that's what makes you happy, makes sense to me. I'm happy with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't look down on what nobody does. Who am I to tell someone that's not right? You going to hell. Who am I to tell? I don't even know what it's heaven or hell. Where is heaven or hell? I never seen it. I would never, ever, 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 ever tell anybody what they should or should not do. All I know is this right here. Opening demonic portals is very dangerous. That I do know. If it doesn't make sense, it's not true. Okay? It's like, I'm not going to say that it's not true because she was over there with them. They were there. That is true. But everything after it just makes no sense to me. The explanation that the authorities are giving makes no sense to me. I have questions. I'm not saying that it's not true. I just have questions. I need to know, why did the security guards pick their Airbnb and smell and know that it came from there? Usually, if you smell gas or something, how do you know that it came from that unit? That's just an odor that would be outside. How did they know it was coming specifically from there? Then the boyfriend said that when he called her at 4:10, she wasn't right. She said she felt like she'd been drugged. Well, you could feel like that if you've been breathing in carbon monoxide. But they didn't say that the carbon monoxide was leaking through the home. They said that someone took a shower And during taking the shower, the carbon monoxide was leaking through, and that's how they perished. But my thing is, you turn the shower on, the carbon monoxide is going to leak out through the vents because the boiler turns on. Once you stop taking the shower, the boiler is going to turn off. The carbon monoxide should not be coming out anymore. So if the carbon monoxide was leaking to where as though it's still going to leak, even if the shower is on or off, then I could see them breathing in carbon monoxide the entire time. I can see that was a death trap. Soon as they walked in there, that was going to happen to them because they were going to be breathing that in, not knowing. So if the authorities had to come out and said it that way, that yes, it was carbon monoxide because it was leaking through the house, no, they said that someone turned the shower on and that while they were taking the shower, the hot water heater came on, and that's what made the carbon monoxide go through the house. So this would have been at 4:00 in the morning because she was all right up until 4:00. That was the last time he talked to her. So somebody had to been taking a shower at that time. That's all I'm saying, y'all. Mirrors is the most popular portal for spirits to come through. If it's a group of units, apartments, was the complex evacuated or were other people hurt? Did other people say they smell gas? Exactly, coach. All those things. None of that was specified. Yes, mirrors are portals used for scaring communication with demons. I knew that the spirits came through mirrors. Yeah, remember that movie? Is it The Skeleton Key? Remember that movie? Yep, they use mirrors to bring those spirits through specifically. So, that is where I'm at with this video. I just wanted to give context as to what the Day of the Dead actually is and explain it because we had some questions about it earlier today. So I hope I was able to do that. There was more information that I wanted to give and kind of do like a correlation between All Hallows Eve and what the Day of the Dead, but I think you guys pretty much get it. I don't want to overload you guys with information, but I think you pretty much see what it is. It is the Day of the Dead. Like they say, it is a time where they communicate with dead people, their loved ones, spirits, however you want to put it. They want to celebrate their life. No, that is not what it is. They are not celebrating their life. And see, that's what people do. They want to tickle their ears. They want to get the little happy definition. That ain't what they said. That ain't that. No. That's not what that's not what the definition is. That is not what the research shows. No, they are not celebrating a person's life. They are celebrating the life by communicating and conjuring them, by bringing them back into the world, by allowing them back into their home through the use of altars. That's what they're doing. Sitting out their pictures, sitting out offerings that they like, food, drink, whatever it is that they like, and they are bringing back and allowing those spirits to come back in the home between the 31st and the 2nd, because like it says, the veil is the thinnest. Even with All Hallows Eve, even with All Saints Day, even with All Souls Day, it's in that same time frame, because that is the time that the veil is the thinnest. So all of those celebrating dead and demonic and all that, it is done at that time. That is why Halloween, that's why, All Hallows Eve, all these satanic rituals are done at this time, because the demons and the demonic spirits that they wish to communicate with, they can have access to them at that time, because it is the thinnest, the veil is the thinnest between those that date range. So I hope you weren't confused. If you guys were, I'm sorry. It was a lot of information, and I just really was trying to tiptoe around and not offend anybody. I just didn't want anyone to feel like I'm telling them that what they practice is wrong, because I don't want to judge anybody. I just wanted to give the information and say that whatever it is that you do, just please be informed and please be educated. Don't go into something thinking that I just want to have fun and that, it's harmless.
No, it's just face paint. No, because if you don't know what it really is, you can be setting yourself up to be involved in something that it's dangerous for you because you don't know. Now, see, this is the carbon monoxide can also be odorless and colorless. Good to have carbon monoxide detectors in your homes. Now, my question is, Jai, they said it was carbon monoxide, but the security guards said that they smell gas. So if the carbon monoxide is odorless, why are they saying that they smell gas? Carbon monoxide, a lot of people, when they are poisoned, is because they can't see it or smell it. So they don't get out the home, they don't get air, because they can't smell it. So it would seem that the three of them were in that home, they didn't smell it, and they just perished because they didn't know. How is it that the people outside smelled it? That's my biggest question. If the people in the home didn't know, how is it that the security guards could say that they smell gas and that they went to go check on these people and that's how they found them? And the boyfriend is saying that he called and told the hostess to go check on them. Sweet Pea, I think if you want to understand what you've been saying, you get it. If you are determined to have issues with what you say, you don't get it. Right. Natural gas may have a smell like turning on a gas stove and the pilot is out and gas is escaping. Right. Okay. And so the carbon monoxide is from the gas. So the hot water heater, because it's gas, the gas was seeping like the pilot underneath, like when they turned it on, and probably because the Airbnb was old, maybe didn't have a lot of people using it, maybe that hot water heater wasn't active. I don't know, but it's just a sad thing. Do you think that, so the authority said that the when the person was taking the shower and they turned on the hot water tank, because they turned the shower on, so the hot water tank came on. Do you think that it was seeping out, Jai, even before they got there? Does it have the potential to seep out even if nothing had been turned on? So like, say if no one had been using the shower or anything and the hot water heater wasn't coming on, so if someone, they came there because they were renting it, they hadn't touched the shower or nothing like that, do you think that gas or whatever was seeping through in the home even without anyone having messed with the hot water heater? Jai, what do you think about that? Something like that, if it's true, right? Yes, but natural gas is actually odorless until they add the component to it so that we can smell if there's a leak. I didn't know that until I had a gas leak and they came out to fix it. Wow, Trick Mama. So you don't even smell a gas leak is what you're saying? I had a gas leak once before and I actually smelled it. I did smell it. It was the pilot from the stove. I did smell it. So very possibly it has to be high concentration to cause death. That's what I'm saying. And I mean, do you think it's just weird to me? I don't know. Something just doesn't sit right with my spirit with this. I'm sorry, it just don't. I'm like, they just got there, right? They said somebody started taking a shower and that's what made the hot water tank come on and made the gas seep through the house. But then that would have meant that this was done early in the morning, like 4:10, because when the boyfriend Victor talked to Candace, it was 4:10 in the morning. So if once he reached her, she wasn't feeling good or whatever, she said she was ready to come home. She was just downtrodden in her spirit. Now, she said she felt like she was drugged. like she had been drugged. So we know of the fake liquor over there in Mexico, her being up at 4 something or feeling like that. Do we know if they had been drinking? We don't know anything because we don't have all of those details. It's just a story that says, oh, this is what happened. They don't have like details as to what they did while they were over there, if they had went out and got drinks, and we don't have any of that information. So it could be a lot of stuff that we just aren't ever gonna know. So that's what that's what this is just a deep dive video, just talking about shooting around ideas as to what we think could have happened. We had a gas leak for a year and it didn't smell it. The gas company said we were lucky because we could be dead. Damn right. You had a gas leak for a year. That's a long time, Dion. Thank God you guys are okay. Wow. That's a long time. So you guys, thank you for being patient with me, and thank you for listening to my little, educational piece. I try to do the best that I can do, and I always like to give context to what it is that we're talking about when we don't know about a subject. I never want anybody to feel like I'm downing them about downing your religion or your beliefs, because that's not what I intend to do. I will never do that because, again, if it makes you a good human, it makes you participate in this society and be good to people. That's all I care about, because my daughter, my kids, I want people to be good to them every day. So I want them to run across good human beings. And that's all that we strive to be every day, a good person. So if the Day of the Dead is something that you celebrate, please keep on celebrating it. Don't stop celebrating it because I said that it's dangerous, because I said be careful with the spirits that you invite in. Don't stop doing whatever it is you're doing what you want to do if that's what makes you happy. All right. There is no way one should rent a unit without smoke or carbon monoxide detectors. Well, Airbnb, apparently this is not the first, this ain't the second, and this ain't the third. There are many instances of this being an issue with Airbnb rentals. There are many people that have lost their lives due to this situation, on a daily basis. But with the Airbnbs, it seems to be becoming a trend with them. Now, they even said that they offer free smoke detectors and free carbon monoxide detectors to the renters, to the people, the hosts. They offer these. So, I would think that you should make them take them, and that there should be some type of inspection. I don't think that Airbnb comes out and inspects these homes. I think that they do everything virtual. They send pictures and they just send their ID and, you know what I'm saying, the tax forms they fill out and stuff like that. They show that they're able to be a renter and stuff. But I don't think that Airbnb sends any type of representative out to the properties to make sure that they are up to par. Now, maybe they do like where you have to send in a certificate through the state to show that you can be a rental, that you can rent out a property. But I don't think that Airbnb comes out and checks it. I think that they ask you to upload the paperwork, and anybody can, you could fraudulently fill that type of stuff out. They probably have you upload it, and then as long as all that checks out, you can be a host. Jai, we had detectors. It was in the basement, but we had a towel across the bottom of the door to block the breeze. Wow. I hope that it wasn't, I think that might have been a fire hazard, Dion, blocking off the air like that. I think you could have caused maybe an explosion, Dion. Trapping it in, I think, and trapping the air, putting the towel. I think you might have been like, you could have caused a combustion to happen, right? I think. Dion, don't say that no more, girl. That's dangerous. You better not do that again. Inspection stickers, fire extinguishers, life alert buttons, etc. All of that. Now, I don't know. Like I said, if Airbnb, it really checks all this. I think they just let them upload it. And if the paperwork check out, then hey, because it's all an app. I've seen, when I have done Airbnb before, I had to do it for a long term one time. And I used to communicate back and forth with the hosts, and they used to like take off the cleaning fee and take off certain things and do so everything is like very app driven. You got to go through the app to communicate, you got to go through the app to pay, you got to do all this stuff through the app. I think that is so they're so driven on contactless stuff, having as minimal contact as possible and everything just being so easy. I don't think they send anybody out to check anything. I think they wanted to be as seamless as possible, encourage people. Like, they don't want to give people a hard time because they want to make that money. So I don't know, but there's a lot of instances of this with the smoke detector. So that's it, you guys. We've been up here for an hour and 45 minutes. I'm thank you for being here with me. Thank you for your support. Everybody that sent super sticker, everybody that sent a super chat. Dion, thank you for your Cash App. I appreciate it. Even the trolls, your engagement. Thank you for the new subscribers. Thank you guys for watching. This has been another edition of Sweeper Diaries. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch y'all on the next video. Good night, you guys. Bye.